The galaxy had always looked at humans as weak and small. Civilizations with towers of metal and planets full of machines laughed at the tiny blue planet. They called it primitive, backward, and unimportant. The humans, they said, could barely send a message across their own system, let alone explore the stars. But on Earth, the humans were busy preparing something that the galaxy would never expect. In a hidden launch bay, a single ship stood tall and ready, its metal shining under the sun. It was not the largest, fastest, or most armed ship in the galaxy, but it carried the hope of an entire species. The scientists and engineers walked around it, checking every wire, every panel, every button. They worked quietly, their faces serious, but their hearts full of determination. Commander Aaron looked at the ship. "This small ship will go farther than anyone thinks," he said softly. His crew nodded, knowing the galaxy had already laughed at them. "They call us weak," Aaron continued, "but they will see soon." They will see. In the capital of the galaxy, a council of the most advanced civilizations gathered. They watched the news from Earth, projected on massive holographic screens. One alien leader, with tentacles curling in amusement, laughed loudly. "Look at this!" "A single human ship," it said. "They are fools to try. No species so small and primitive can survive in deep space." Other leaders joined in the laughter. "It will not even reach the first asteroid belt," said another, "let alone the stars beyond." Messages were sent across the galaxy, mocking humans and their tiny ship. Memes, jokes, even songs were made about the one little human ship that tried. The humans on Earth did not respond. They only prepared on the night of the launch. The sky was clear. Stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet. People gathered in cities, towns, and villages, watching the small ship rise. Children pointed and cheered, their eyes wide with wonder. Old scientists wiped their eyes quietly, remembering all the struggles it took to reach this moment. The engines roared to life. Fire and smoke poured from the base of the ship. Slowly, it lifted off the ground. The humans held their breath. It climbed higher, leaving Earth behind. The galaxy laughed, its words echoing in the void. "You will fail," they said. "You are nothing," they said. But the ship moved on, steady, calm, and determined. Inside, the crew worked like a single mind. Sensors checked the path ahead. Communications hummed softly. They passed the first satellites, then the moons, then the small asteroids near Earth. Each small success gave them courage. Each obstacle made them stronger. Commander Aaron looked out of the window at the stars. They seemed closer than ever, yet still so far. He remembered the words of the galaxy, the laughter, the mockery, and he smiled. "They will see us soon," he whispered. His crew nodded, understanding without words. They all knew the galaxy had never faced humans like this before. The ship entered a quiet zone of space, where no human had ever gone. Darkness surrounded them, broken only by distant stars. Then the unexpected happened. The sensors detected movement, strange signals from deep space. Aaron leaned forward, his heart beating faster. "Unknown objects ahead," he said. The crew studied the readings, fear and excitement mixing in the air. The galaxy laughed still, thinking humans would fail at the first challenge. But these humans were not like the galaxy expected. They were small, yes, and fragile, yes, but they had something the galaxy had forgotten. They had courage, intelligence, and the ability to adapt. They had hope. And hope was stronger than any weapon. As the small ship moved closer to the unknown signals, the crew felt a thrill. They were explorers, voyagers, pioneers, and they were about to show the galaxy that humans were not to be mocked. Not yet, not ever, far away. In the grand halls of alien empires, leaders still laughed. They did not see the humans inside the tiny ship, working, thinking, surviving. They did not see the courage, the quiet determination. They only saw a small ship moving into space. And they thought it was foolish. Little did they know. This one ship would change everything. The stars awaited the humans. Mysteries waited in the dark, and for the first time, a small blue planet had sent a message that the galaxy could not ignore. The journey had begun, and the galaxy would soon learn that humans were not what they seemed. The small ship moved silently through the void, carrying the dreams of a species, carrying the fire of Earth, and somewhere deep in space, the unknown waited to meet them. The small human ship sailed silently through the black ocean of space. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction. Cold and distant inside, Commander Aaron and his crew worked quietly, eyes glued to glowing screens. Every beep and flicker told a story. And every story was a new challenge. The galaxy had laughed at them, but laughter could not stop what they were about to face. Unknown territories waited ahead, full of dangers no human had ever imagined. And yet, the crew felt a strange thrill, a mixture of fear and excitement. Every pulse of the engines, every vibration in the hull, reminded them that they were alive and they were explorers. The first challenge appeared sooner than they expected. A massive asteroid belt stretched across their path. Rocks larger than cities tumbled through space. The sensors screamed warnings as the ship carefully maneuvered through. Aaron's hands flew over the controls, guiding the ship with precision. The crew held their breath as they dodged a spinning boulder the size of a mountain. When they finally cleared the belt, a cheer escaped the quiet cabin. They had survived the first test, and it had only made them stronger. But the stars ahead were not kind. Strange signals appeared on the sensors, pulsing with light and sound. No human technology had ever encountered these readings. The signals seemed alive, moving like a predator hunting its prey. "Unknown energy field ahead," said Lieutenant Mira, her voice calm but tense. The ship shivered as the field surrounded them. Time slowed in the cabin, every second stretching like a lifetime. The field tested their shields and navigation. Systems flickered, alarms rang. The crew worked together. Every action synchronized, every decision critical. Aaron's voice cut through the chaos. "Stay focused, stay calm, and we will pass this." The ship groaned as it entered the center of the field. For a moment, the lights went out, and only the stars beyond could be seen. Then, as suddenly as it began, the energy passed. The ship emerged, unbroken but changed. The sensors recorded phenomena that no human had ever seen. Colors shifted, lights danced, and whispers of unknown energy echoed through the cabin. The crew stared in awe, their fear replaced by wonder. As the humans moved deeper into space, the signals grew stronger. They were not alone, something was watching, observing their every move, not an enemy, not a friend, but something intelligent, something alien. The ship's instruments struggled to interpret the patterns. Was it a creature, a machine, or something beyond understanding? Aaron leaned forward, heart pounding. "Prepare for contact," he said softly. The crew exchanged worried glances, but they trusted their commander. Humans had survived impossible challenges before, and they would survive this too. The first sign of life appeared as a massive shadow glided across the sensors. It moved faster than any known ship, yet it left no physical trace. The crew could only watch as it circled the human vessel, silent and invisible. "Identify it," Mira shouted, but the instruments could not lock on. The shadow seemed to know their every move, predicting each maneuver for the first time. Fear replaced excitement in the cabin, but even in fear, the humans did not falter. They were small, yes, fragile, yes, but adaptable, clever, and fearless when needed. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange in the vast emptiness. Then the shadow appeared clearly on the main display. It was not a ship, but a living entity, enormous and beautiful. With patterns of light running across its body, it seemed to float, weightless, powerful, and intelligent. The crew gasped, staring at what no human had ever seen before. The entity pulsed in response to the ship's signals, as if communicating without words. Aaron took a deep breath. "We are not here to fight. Only to explore," he said, and then, as if understanding, the shadow moved aside, letting the ship pass. The humans realized they were witnessing something beyond comprehension. It was a test, or perhaps a greeting, or maybe just curiosity, but it changed them. Even as it left them trembling with awe, the galaxy had mocked them, laughed at them, and yet here they were, navigating through dangers and mysteries no other species had faced. Every pulse of the engines, every breath in the cabin, was a heartbeat of defiance. Humans were small, fragile, and underestimated, but they were explorers, and they would not be stopped. As the ship moved further, a strange nebula appeared ahead, glowing with colors unseen in human skies. It seemed alive, swirling with motion as if the stars themselves were dancing. The sensors went wild, unable to measure the strange energy. Aaron felt a thrill he had never known. "This is why we came," he whispered. "To see the unknown, to face the impossible." But as the ship entered the nebula, the lights flickered, alarms rang, and shadows danced across the walls. The unknown was alive here, and it was waiting. For the humans, for their courage, for the small blue planet that no one had taken seriously. And deep in space, far from the laughter of the galaxy, The adventure had only just begun. The human ship drifted closer to the edge of the glowing nebula. Inside the cabin, the crew stared at the sensors, which were now showing unusual patterns. Strange shapes moved in and out of the nebula's colors, shapes that seemed almost intelligent. "Commander," Lieutenant Mira said, her voice tight with tension. "There's something out there, something huge. And it's following us." Aaron's eyes narrowed, scanning the data. "Keep calm," he said, his voice steady. "The galaxy laughed at us, yes. But we are not here to fight unless we must. This is exploration, not war," the crew nodded. But unease filled the air, the silence heavy and almost alive. Even the engines hummed differently, as if aware of the presence surrounding them. Suddenly, a shape appeared on the main screen. It was enormous, larger than any human imagination. Its body shimmered like liquid light, constantly shifting. Patterns of color moved across it like a living map of the stars. The humans could not tell if it was one creature or many. Its movements were precise, yet fluid, graceful, and terrifying. The entity stopped near the ship, hovering silently. The sensors showed pulses of energy moving toward the humans, not violent, but probing. "Are they trying to communicate?" Mira asked quietly. Aaron leaned closer to the screen, heart racing. He had never faced anything like this. Not in simulations, not in training. Every instinct told him that the creature was intelligent, aware, and assessing them. Aaron spoke slowly, deliberately. "We are humans from Earth. We come in peace. We wish to explore. To learn." He activated the communication array, sending pulses of light and sound. Carefully coded, the alien entity paused, then responded in patterns that were unlike any language. It moved, shifted, and sent ripples of energy through the nebula. The crew felt the signals in their bones, a strange vibration that was almost alive. Mira studied the data, her eyes wide. "It's listening or maybe judging us," she whispered. The crew exchanged nervous glances, knowing that a single wrong move could end everything. And yet, even in fear, excitement burned in their hearts. This was the first true contact with a being beyond human understanding, and humans, small and fragile, were not fleeing. They were facing it, head on. Hours seemed to pass as the entity moved around the ship. Testing shields, observing reactions, analyzing behavior, the humans adjusted, showing careful precision, intelligence, and restraint. It was a dance, delicate and dangerous, with stakes higher than any human had imagined. Then, without warning, the entity pulsed a bright light toward the ship. The crew shielded their eyes, and the ship trembled as the energy flowed through the hull. The screens flashed with strange data, showing systems that no human could fully understand. Aaron gripped the controls, feeling a thrill he could not explain. "This is a test," he muttered. "They want to see what we are made of." The energy subsided, leaving the ship intact. The humans exhaled, relief washing over them, but the entity was not gone. It hovered nearby, observing. The crew felt a strange connection, as if the alien could see into their minds, and they, in turn, could feel its curiosity, its intelligence, and something deeper. Suddenly, the entity moved closer, almost touching the ship. The colors on its body shifted rapidly, forming patterns that seemed like symbols. Mira scanned the signals frantically. "It's giving us a map or maybe a message," she said. Awe in her voice, Aaron nodded. "We must follow it carefully. It may lead us to something important, or a danger we cannot yet see." The ship followed the entity. Moving through the nebula, strange gravitational waves rocked the vessel. Lights flickered, every shadow seemed alive, every flicker a potential threat. Yet the humans pressed on, determined, brave, and united. They moved not with arrogance, but with respect, understanding that they were guests in this unknown space. Then, as they reached the center of the nebula, the entity stopped. It hovered above a massive structure. Half hidden by clouds of colorful gas, the humans gasped, recognizing a pattern that suggested intelligence and design. It was not natural, yet it was not alive in the way they understood. Aaron whispered, "The galaxy mocked us, laughed at our small ship, but look at what we've found. A secret the galaxy has never seen." The entity pulsed one last time, then receded into the nebula. Its message clear. The humans had passed the first test. The crew stared in silence, hearts racing, minds filled with questions. They were explorers, yes, but they were also witnesses, standing on the edge of discovery. And somewhere deep in space, the galaxy's laughter felt distant, almost foolish, for humans had shown that even a small ship could reach where others dared not. And the journey had only just begun. The human ship hovered at the edge of the glowing nebula. The strange structure before them pulsed with energy. Like a heartbeat in the darkness, Commander Aaron studied the data carefully. Every reading was unusual, every signal strange. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, and unlike anything humans had studied. The crew exchanged glances, a mixture of fear and anticipation on their faces. Lieutenant Mira spoke first. "Commander, the structure, it's reacting to us. It's not just a building or station. It's alive in some way." Aaron nodded. "We have to approach carefully. One wrong move, and it could destroy us or worse. Trap us." The ship moved slowly, cautiously. Sensors scanning every inch of the alien structure. Each pulse of light seemed to watch them, analyzing, testing, measuring their intent. Suddenly, the nebula around them flared. Energy waves shot past the ship, like invisible walls trying to push them away. Alarms rang, lights flickered, and the crew gripped their seats. Aaron's hands flew over the controls, his mind racing. They had survived dangers before, but this was different. This was not just natural danger. It was a test of intelligence, patience, and courage. The sensors revealed a path through the energy waves. Narrow and precise, Aaron calculated quickly, guiding the ship with subtle, exact movements. The crew followed instructions flawlessly, each action synchronized. It was like a dance between the ship and the nebula itself. The energy pulses shifted, slowed, and then parted. The path was clear, and the ship moved forward, inside the cabin. The crew could hardly speak. Every breath was heavy with suspense, every movement deliberate. Then, from the center of the structure, a beam of light shot toward the ship. It was not an attack, but a challenge, a puzzle, something to understand. The beam wrapped around the ship like a ribbon. Scanning, probing, testing, Mira studied the signals. "It's trying to communicate through patterns, through geometry and energy pulses." "Not words," Aaron nodded. "We must respond the same way. Match its pattern, show that we understand, show that humans are clever enough to meet it." The crew worked together, every mind focused. They sent pulses of energy from the ship. Carefully matching the patterns, the structure responded, shifting lights and sending new sequences. It was like a conversation without words, a test of intelligence and creativity. Time seemed to stretch as humans and alien structure exchanged patterns, and then a moment of silence. As if the structure itself paused to think. Finally, the structure pulsed one enormous wave of energy. The ship shivered, shields working at maximum. Then it opened a passage, a glowing corridor of light stretching into its center. Aaron took a deep breath. "We did it. We passed the first real test." The crew stared in awe, the energy corridor inviting them forward. It was beautiful, dangerous, and utterly alien. As the ship moved through the corridor, the structure seemed to change. It pulsed in harmony with the humans' movements, almost as if it approved. Suddenly, the corridor opened into a vast chamber. The walls shimmered with colors, and patterns moved across the surfaces like living art. In the center, a strange crystal floated. Glowing softly, the sensors showed it radiated immense energy, enough to power worlds, and the humans realized it was not just a power source, but a key, a guide, something vital to the galaxy. But the moment of awe did not last long. A shadow moved across the chamber, something large, fast, and unseen. The sensors flared, alarms ringing, lights flickering. Aaron's heart pounded. "Brace for danger, whatever this is." "It's testing us again." The shadow moved closer, faster than anything the crew had seen. It was not attacking directly, but it circled the ship. Probing, observing, like a predator, Aaron and Mira worked together, guiding the ship with clever maneuvers, dodging energy pulses, responding to the structure's signals. It was not just survival, it was intelligence versus intelligence. Every move had to be precise, every decision critical. The crew felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Humans were small, fragile, yet they were proving they could match alien cunning. Finally, after tense moments, the shadow retreated, leaving the ship intact. The structure pulsed in approval, almost like applause. The humans had passed another test, survived another challenge. They had proven their cleverness, their courage, and their adaptability. And as the ship floated in the chamber, the crystal glowing in the center, Aaron realized something important. This is only the beginning. The galaxy may have mocked us, but no one has ever seen humans like this before. The crew looked at each other, hearts racing, minds full of awe. They had survived the nebula, the energy waves, and the shadow, and they had communicated with something truly alien, something powerful, intelligent, and mysterious. They were small, yes, fragile, yes, but humans had something the galaxy had forgotten. Courage, cleverness, and the will to survive against impossible odds. Outside the ship, the nebula shimmered. Alive and aware, the path ahead was unknown, full of dangers and wonders yet unseen, and the humans, a single small ship, were ready to face it all, for they were explorers, pioneers, and the galaxy would soon learn that no challenge was too great for the species it had once mocked. Far away from the small human ship, in the grand halls of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, screens flickered with live transmissions. Leaders who had once laughed at humans now stared in disbelief. The tiny ship that everyone had mocked had survived the nebula, navigated energy waves, and communicated with something no one had ever understood. A murmur ran through the council chambers. "This cannot be possible," one elder alien said, tentacles twitching nervously. "They are learning, adapting, surviving," said another. For the first time, the galaxy felt something it had not felt before regarding humans. Fear and awe on Earth. Commander Aaron and his crew did not know the galaxy was watching. They were focused entirely on their mission. The crystal in the alien structure pulsed softly, as if acknowledging their presence. Every crew member felt a sense of wonder and responsibility. They were small, yes, fragile, yes, but in that moment, they held the power to change the perception of humanity forever. The alien structure responded to their movements, shifting and pulsing with light. It seemed almost playful, like a teacher testing students, but danger was never far, and the crew could feel the pressure of the unknown. Then a new reading appeared on the sensors, one that sent chills down their spines. A massive object approaching at unimaginable speed. It was not part of the nebula, not part of the structure. It was something entirely new, and its energy signature suggested intelligence and power beyond comprehension. "Commander," Mira said, voice tight with tension. "We are not alone. Something else is coming. And it is not friendly." Aaron's eyes narrowed, hands steady on the controls. "Prepare the ship," he said calmly. "We do not run from danger. We face it with intelligence and courage." The crew moved like a single mind. Shields strengthened, sensors recalibrated, weapons ready. Every heartbeat was filled with anticipation, every breath measured and tense. Outside, the object moved closer, its presence warping the very space around them. It emitted waves of energy that shook the ship, tested the shields, and challenged their navigation. Yet the humans pressed forward, guided by skill, courage, and quick thinking. They moved with precision, dodging and calculating, reading the energy waves like a language. The alien structure seemed to watch, pulses of light signaling approval as humans responded to the challenge. It was a test unlike anything the galaxy had ever imagined, and the humans were passing against all odds. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, debates erupted, voices loud with panic and disbelief. How can a single human ship survive against such forces? Do they possess hidden technology? No, it's impossible. Humans are small, weak, insignificant, but each screen told a different story, and the leaders could not deny it. The humans were surviving, learning, and navigating dangers that would have destroyed even the most advanced civilizations. And fear began to replace laughter, respect slowly creeping into disbelief. On board the ship, a new phenomenon appeared. A massive energy storm formed in the distance, twisting and turning like a living serpent. It pulsed with dangerous power, capable of tearing through the ship's hull in moments. Aaron studied the sensors carefully, calculating a path. "This is our next challenge," he said. Voice calm but tense, Mira nodded. "And we will face it like we always have. With courage and cleverness." The crew prepared, hearts racing, knowing that one wrong move could end their mission, their lives, and perhaps the chance to prove humans were not weak. The storm roared closer, waves of energy threatening to crush the ship. But humans moved differently, adapting to the chaos with intelligence and skill. They twisted, dodged, and read the patterns of the storm. Every pulse of energy, every fluctuation, became a clue, and slowly, with clever navigation and teamwork, the ship began to pass through. The crew cheered quietly, relief and exhilaration flooding their hearts. For the galaxy, watching from afar, the impossible had happened. A single human ship had survived dangers that would have destroyed entire fleets of advanced civilizations. The screens in the council chambers went silent for a moment. Then, one leader finally spoke, voice trembling. "They are remarkable." A silence followed, filled with awe and fear. The galaxy had mocked humans, laughed at them, and underestimated them, but now a new truth spread through the stars. Humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable, and the galaxy would have to take them seriously. For the small blue planet had sent forth a species capable of facing the unknown. And surviving, the human ship moved onward. Leaving the storm behind, the alien structure pulsed one last time, a soft wave of approval washing over the ship. Aaron looked at his crew, eyes bright. "We are showing them. We are showing the galaxy what humans can do." The crew nodded silently, pride and determination filling their hearts. The journey was far from over, and greater dangers awaited. But humans had proven something vital: courage, cleverness, and hope could overcome even the impossible. Far away, the galaxy began to whisper. Laughter had turned to shock, mockery to fear. Humans were no longer the small, fragile species everyone dismissed. They were a force that could not be ignored, and the story of one small ship had just begun. The human ship sailed onward through the vast darkness. The energy storm behind them was nothing compared to what lay ahead. Commander Aaron studied the sensors carefully. His mind racing, every reading showed anomalies, strange patterns of energy and matter. It was clear that the galaxy had hidden corners, places of immense power and mystery, and humans were about to discover one of the greatest. Lieutenant Mira leaned over her console, eyes wide. "Commander, the readings. This energy, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. It's powerful, almost alive." Aaron nodded. "Yes, and we must be careful. But this is why we came, to explore the unknown. To see what others fear to see." The crew worked in silence, each movement precise, hearts racing with both fear and excitement. Suddenly, the sensors detected movement, massive forms approaching, not one, but a fleet of unknown vessels, their shapes alien. They moved with speed and precision, surrounding the human ship. The crew's first reaction was alarm, their hands gripping controls, but Aaron remained calm. "Do not panic, observe carefully, learn their patterns. We are small. Yes, fragile, yes, but we have our mind and courage, and that may be our greatest weapon." The fleet advanced, and the ship's shields shimmered under the energy pulses. Each pulse tested their defenses, but the humans adapted quickly. Mira worked with the navigation system, plotting paths the aliens did not anticipate. The fleet paused, surprised at the humans' clever maneuvers. Aaron realized that humans had a power the galaxy often ignored: creativity, courage, and adaptability. Then came the moment of revelation. The alien vessels formed a circle around the human ship. They moved as one, seemingly to attack, but Aaron noticed something unusual. The patterns of their movement mirrored the signals the humans had sent earlier. It was as if the aliens were testing them, probing their intelligence. The humans had something the galaxy had never seen before: the ability to think and adapt under pressure. Aaron smiled. "We can use this. We can turn their test into our advantage, using clever maneuvers." The ship danced through the formation, dodging energy pulses, anticipating the aliens' moves. The crew worked as one, anticipating every challenge. And then, Aaron initiated a hidden system, something the galaxy would never expect. A surge of energy from the ship's core projected outward. It was not a weapon, but a signal, a display of raw human ingenuity and courage. The energy pulse resonated with the alien fleet, not causing harm, but creating a bridge of understanding. The fleet hesitated, then slowly pulled back. The humans had not fought, but they had shown power beyond perception. The aliens studied the humans, their intelligence recognizing something unfamiliar. The galaxy had mocked humans as weak, primitive, and insignificant, but here in the darkness, the humans had revealed a hidden strength. Not technology alone, but intelligence, courage, and determination. Inside the cabin, the crew felt a quiet triumph. They had survived, adapted, and even impressed a force that dwarfed their imagination. Aaron looked at the crystal from the previous structure, still glowing softly. "This," he said, "is why we explore, not to conquer, but to discover, not to fight, but to understand, and sometimes to show the galaxy what it has underestimated." But the victory was not without danger. The sensors detected another anomaly, a wave of energy approaching. It was different from anything before, immense and unpredictable. The ship trembled as the wave drew closer. The crew held their breath, hands steady on the controls. Mira whispered, "Whatever this is, it could destroy us." Aaron nodded, calm as ever. "Then we must meet it with courage. We must be humans, and humans survive." As the wave struck the shields, energy rippling across the hull, the ship reacted with ingenuity. Absorbing and redirecting the pulse, the aliens watched silently, amazed at the humans' ability to survive and adapt. It was not brute force that saved them, but cleverness, precision, and courage. The galaxy had never seen humans like this, and even the alien fleet hesitated. The humans had shown something greater than any weapon or armor. They had revealed the hidden power of the human spirit. Finally, the wave passed, leaving the ship intact. The crew exhaled, hearts pounding, minds racing with awe and determination. Aaron smiled at his crew. "We have survived. We have shown courage and cleverness, and the galaxy is watching, learning, and beginning to understand." Outside, the stars glimmered like silent witnesses. The unknown stretched ahead, full of dangers, mysteries, and challenges. But humans had something no one had expected. And the journey continued, small, fragile, underestimated, but powerful in ways the galaxy had never imagined. The human ship drifted in silence after the storm. The crew was exhausted, but their eyes still burned with determination. They had faced energy storms, alien fleets, and mysterious structures. And yet they were still standing, still moving forward in the darkness. Their small ship shone like a spark that refused to die. Commander Aaron stood near the main display. Stars glimmered before him, endless and cold. He could feel the weight of what they had done. He knew the galaxy was watching, waiting, and perhaps fearing. The small blue planet had sent one ship, and that ship was rewriting the galaxy's understanding of courage. Lieutenant Mira looked up from her console. "Commander, we're receiving transmissions from multiple sources. They're not attacks, they're broadcasts. I think the galaxy is watching us in real time." Aaron frowned. "Watching us?" Mira nodded. "Yes, sir. We are on every galactic network. Every civilization is seeing what we do." In faraway worlds, alien eyes stared at the screens, some filled with awe, others with envy, others with fear. They had mocked the humans, called them primitive and foolish. Now they watched a small ship from Earth face what no one else dared to face. Whispers spread through the stars. "The humans are not weak," they said. "They are different." But while the galaxy watched, a new danger approached. The sensors began to scream with warnings. Massive distortions rippled across space. Something ancient and powerful was awakening. Something even the oldest civilizations had forgotten. The readings made no sense. Too strong, too vast, too strange. The crew felt a deep vibration in the hull. It was as if the stars themselves were shivering. Mira's voice trembled. "Commander, this isn't an ordinary threat. It's like a storm of reality itself." Aaron's eyes hardened. "Then we face it. We've come too far to turn back now." The ship moved forward, engines glowing bright against the darkness. The wave of distortion grew closer, swallowing stars in its path. It was not a storm, not an army, but something beyond understanding. A force that devoured light, energy, and even time. The alien civilizations watched in horror. Their sensors could barely process what they saw. Some began evacuations. Others shut down communications, but the humans, they advanced, one ship, one crew, facing something the galaxy itself feared. The distortion wave struck, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared, lights flickered, energy surged through every system, threatening to tear the vessel apart. The crew fought to keep control, their hands moving with precision and speed. Aaron shouted over the noise. "Hold her steady, redirect power to shields. Stabilize the core." The ship groaned under the pressure. Panels sparked, the engines screamed, but they held. Humans had built this ship with everything they had, and it refused to die. The galaxy watched, speechless. No one had ever faced the void storm and lived. Yet somehow the small human ship fought its way through. Their shields flared, their engines burned bright. And at the center of the chaos, something changed. The crystal they had recovered earlier began to glow. Its light pulsed through the ship, merging with their systems. For the first time, human technology and alien energy fused perfectly. The ship transformed, its power stabilizing. It was as if the universe itself was lending them strength. Aaron stared at the glowing core. "This is it," he said softly. "The connection. It's not just a tool, it's a bridge between human will and alien knowledge." The ship surged forward, cutting through the storm like a blade through darkness. And when they emerged, silence followed. Behind them, the storm collapsed into nothingness. Before them, the stars burned brighter than ever. Across the galaxy, billions of eyes watched in silence. The laughter that had once echoed was gone, replaced by awe. The small ship that was meant to fail had done the impossible. Aaron looked at his crew, faces illuminated by the soft light of the stars. He smiled faintly. They laughed when we launched one ship. They will not laugh now, Mira turned to him. Commander, do you think they understand now? Aaron nodded slowly. They will. Humans are not the strongest, not the fastest. But we are the most stubborn. We never stop. Even when the universe itself says no, the alien broadcasts spread across every world. Images of the human ship passing through the storm played again and again. For the first time in galactic history, civilizations that had never agreed on anything spoke the same words, respect the humans, but deep in the void, something still moved. The storm had ended. But the disturbance had awakened something older, darker, and far more intelligent. The readings hinted at motion, something massive shifting beyond the stars. The humans didn't yet know it. But their journey was far from over. They had proven their courage, their cleverness, their hidden power. Now they would need to prove their endurance, because the galaxy had realized the truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were not foolish. Humans were the spark that could challenge the darkness itself. And the darkness had noticed. The stars shimmered like silent witnesses as the human ship drifted beyond the storm. Silence filled the cabin, the kind of silence that follows victory and realization. The crew had survived everything, the energy storms, alien fleets, and the void that devoured light. But each of them knew, deep inside, that the true test had only just begun. Commander Aaron stood at the viewport. Staring into the vastness of space, the galaxy had seen their courage, their strength, their resilience, yet now, something else stirred in the dark beyond the stars. Something old, powerful, and aware. The storm they had defeated had not been the enemy. It had been the warning. Lieutenant Mira broke the silence. Commander, sensors are detecting something massive ahead, larger than anything we've seen. Maybe even larger than a planet. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice stayed calm. The crew gathered, eyes wide as the image formed on their screen. It was not a planet, not a ship, but something alive. A structure that pulsed with energy, ancient and awake. It was as if the galaxy itself had opened its eyes. Aaron narrowed his gaze. That thing, it's been watching us, Mira whispered. Commander, are you saying it's intelligent? Aaron nodded slowly. No, Mira, I think it's more than intelligent. It's the origin of the storm, the force behind the tests. And it knows we passed them. The ship's lights dimmed as a deep resonance filled the air. The alien crystal began to glow again. Brighter this time, symbols appeared across every screen. Unfamiliar yet strangely understandable. It was a message, not spoken in words, but felt in the mind. You have survived where others perished, the message seemed to say. You have proven courage, unity, and adaptation. You are different, and the galaxy must evolve or fall. The crew exchanged looks of awe and fear. It was not a threat, but a declaration. Humanity had been noticed, not as invaders, not as children, but as equals in a galaxy that had once laughed at them. Aaron stepped forward, his voice steady. If you can hear us, we are explorers, not conquerors. We came not to rule, but to understand. The light pulsed once, then dimmed, and for a brief second, the entire galaxy seemed to whisper, then understand this, human. The universe watches, and you have awakened something far greater than you know. Suddenly, the structure began to collapse in on itself. Waves of pure energy surged outward, shaking the ship violently. Commander, Mira shouted, we need to leave now. Aaron gave the order, engines roaring to life. The ship turned, racing through the waves of collapsing energy. Panels sparked, alarms screamed, but the crew worked in perfect sync. It was chaos, but it was the kind of chaos humans thrived in. And they made it out, just as the structure vanished in a silent flash of light. Behind them, the stars shimmered with new constellations. The space around them seemed changed, alive, and then a message echoed across every galactic frequency, not from the humans, but from the structure itself, recorded in light. The humans have passed the trials. They are the spark of renewal. Watch them, learn from them, or be left behind. Every civilization across the galaxy heard it. Every council, every empire, every ruler. They had laughed when humanity sent one small ship. Now they watched in silence as that same ship returned, carrying proof of contact with something beyond comprehension. The galaxy would never be the same again. On board, the crew sat in quiet awe. Their ship was damaged, their bodies tired, but their spirits unbroken. Aaron looked at his crew and smiled. They will talk about this for centuries. How one small ship went where no one else dared and changed the stars forever. Mira laughed softly. Commander, do you think they'll believe it? Aaron smiled wider. They won't have to. They've seen it with their own eyes. As the ship turned toward Earth, the stars ahead glowed brighter. Messages from across the galaxy poured in. Some were greetings, others were invitations. A few were apologies. The same galaxy that had jeered at them now watched with respect and curiosity. Humanity had become something new, a symbol of courage, a spark of evolution, and somewhere deep in the silent void, the force that had tested them watched quietly, its presence vast and unknowable. But there was something almost human in the energy it radiated. A sense of pride and perhaps a warning. The tests were over, but the journey had only begun back on Earth. The world watched as the lone ship reappeared in orbit. Nations stopped, networks froze, hearts held still. The ship that had left with laughter returned to silence and awe. Aaron sent the final transmission to Earth. This is Commander Aaron of the Voyager 1 human ship. Mission complete. We are no longer alone, and we are no longer underestimated. The broadcast echoed across the stars, and the galaxy remembered the day humans sent one small ship, and it arrived, not in defeat, but in victory, not as a whisper, but as a roar that would echo for eternity, because the galaxy had jeered but humanity had answered. And now the stars would never laugh again. When the galaxy mocked humanity for sending just one tiny ship into the stars, no one expected what came next. This is a story of courage, intelligence, and survival. A tale of how one human crew turned laughter into silence, and disbelief into fear. They called humanity weak, primitive, and unworthy of the stars. But when Earth launched a single vessel on a mission no one believed in, the universe watched and jeered until that ship arrived. What they found beyond the edge of known space changed everything. The story of one ship against the galaxy is not just science fiction. It's a powerful reminder of what humans truly are. Resilient, fearless, and endlessly curious, this HFY Sci-Fi story takes you deep into space, where mystery, danger, and destiny collide. Every moment builds suspense, every choice tests humanity's will to survive, and every revelation proves that sometimes, even the smallest spark can light up an entire galaxy. Prepare for an unforgettable journey filled with emotion, tension, and epic cosmic wonder. Watch till the end, because the final twist will leave you speechless. If you love stories about human courage, alien civilizations, and impossible odds, this one's for you. Welcome to the universe of HFY, where humanity, truly comes alive.